What else? Okay, so when you're on site looking at these construction zones, the first one I went to, I was like, why am I here? I don't see anything. This is weird. But once I went inside of the pre-construction units, it was much easier to visualize the brochures and the renders that they had sent me of the digital mock-ups. So I was able to walk around, see how much spacing it is, because mock-ups can make it look like the space is bigger or smaller. So if you go into the actual layout, you'll be able to really see like, okay, this is like a pretty decent size, or this is a shoebox. And just to warn you, you can find some really, really cheap studios, like low as $70,000, but those ones are specifically built to rent out, and they built them with the mindset of making them like a hotel room. So we call it like a shoebox. But yeah, they make them specifically to rent out with the mentality that tourists are coming here and they're not spending time in their apartment. So if you're looking just for investment properties, go with the shoebox, make it cute, awesome. Just make sure you have good amenities, good location. But if you're looking to like have an actual like place here that you want to live in, I would recommend looking into a kind of a higher budget. Again, mine came out to 106,000 total, and it's a 1-bedroom, 1.5 bathroom. So it's just all like your budget and what you're looking for to use it as. So yeah, so that's visiting the pre-construction sites. You can take photos, you can take videos, you can ask all the questions. They don't care. Like ask away, look away, fly your drone there. Like they really don't care. And I did fly my drone to see what was around and things like that. Also, benefits of going to check it out in person is that you can get a feel of the area that it's in. So again, I stayed in the La Valletta area of Tulum for like a month, so that I rented a scooter. I drove everywhere because I was like, I want to see how close the restaurants are. I want to see how close the bars are, because I'm not driving anywhere if I'm going to a bar. I want to see how close the beach is. So the beach from my place is 4.7 miles, which is like an 11-minute bike ride, or like 10-minute, I guess, on your scooter too. And again, you can own property close to the beach with this fideicomiso, which I'll get into in a bit. So anyway, so those were things that I was looking at, and and I was like right next to the highway. I want to see how far it is to the highway. And then a big selling point about my personal one was that it was close to, it is like next door. So it's right next to Holistica, which is the huge and continuously growing yoga community. They pull in a lot of yoga people and retreats and stuff like that. So I was like, well, it would be great if I can rent it out to people who come for retreats and things like that. So yeah, but that's everything that I figured out by being here. I have maps. I'll put maps on my website so that you can see exactly the different zones, because it does get confusing. They have a new region called Region 19, I think. I don't know. The region's like, they have region and the number because they haven't named the region yet. But basically, they are building like a little bit closer to the beach. They cannot go any closer because the environmental restrictions forbid them from killing the mangroves, because we need that to breathe air. So the closest you can get is like Region 8, I think. But they can't build any other things like closer to the beach because of the underground river and the mangroves, which is a really good thing. We don't want them building any closer to the beach. So yeah, that's visiting the pre-construction sites, the pre-sale sites. Now I'm going to explain to you a little bit about exactly what pre-sales are, the risk, the pros, the cons, all that fun stuff. Because like you guys, I'm sure you're like, why am I putting all my money into something that's not built yet? What if it doesn't get built? What if something happens to it and you lose all your money, et cetera, et cetera? What if it doesn't exist, et cetera, et cetera? So the whole point of pre-sale, again, is you get a massive discount because the developers want that money in order to build the place. So the more money you give up front, the more discount that you get, and the less that they have to take out as a loan, pretty much. So again, it sounds scary because you're like, oh, I'm giving them my money to build, but like, what if they don't finish building? So this is where the lawyers come in. There's tons of contracts, and they literally write in the contracts that this place is guaranteed delivered, and they go back and forth with the developers for you. This guy hates me. It hasn't been 20 minutes. So they go back and forth with the developers to figure out a contract that's like a promissory note. So basically the promissory note says you have to sign it saying that you are going to pay however much you agree to pay. So a payment plan. So it can be like 30 up front, 50 in the middle, and then the rest upon delivery. But you don't get a discount. So I went for the biggest possible discount, and I went with 80 down and then 20 on delivery. Sorry, guys. This is Mexico. Anyway, so yeah, so I went with the one that would have the biggest discount because I have the cash to pay it, and it's just gonna sit in my bank anyway. So I figured this was the same amount of investment. But it's up to you. Like if you guys don't want to put that much down and you're okay with not having as big of a discount because the prices are still really good, you can just put 30 up front and then wait until it's halfway done. Get your photos and videos of it once it's halfway done, and then you continue. And again, this all goes through a lawyer, and the lawyer is with you the entire process. Usually with pre-sales, they are delivered. Mine's going to be delivered in 7 months, but they can go a year, and then any farther than that, then usually the price drops even more. So those are called like pre-sale. Like they have the land, they have the mock-up, but they haven't started building yet. So those are like the super, super, super cheap ones. You just have to be comfortable and able to wait. And yeah, you go through the lawyer process though in the beginning. So you don't give any money until you have your lawyer, and then they do it all for you every step of the way. So that's pre-sales. So the cons of pre-sales obviously is you have to wait a bit. And also the cons is like you don't see your exact unit until you get the unit. You can see the one that's the showroom one. You can see the digital mock-ups. Some people that's good enough for them, especially if it's just for investment purposes. But that's a con. And then the other con is that they do get a grace period. So you don't get a grace period for paying. It's always in the developer's favor. So if you're late on your payment, you're going to get penalized and you're going to get charged a fee. But if they are late on delivering the unit, like they have a grace period of like 3 to 6 months, pretty much, no more than 6 months. And then also usually what happens is that they can deliver it, it can be done, but the paperwork takes, because they also explained to me that in Mexico, sometimes the government is slow on paperwork. But as long as your unit is done and delivered, you can move in as soon as it's done, and you can wait as long as you want for the paperwork, but you own the unit. So that's kind of a pro too. Other pros besides the discounts is that there is the possibility of customization. So as I said, I went there, I saw it, and they're like, oh, by the way, we added this pool. And I was like, oh, epic. I was like, what about that? What's going on with that wall? Why is there no windows? And he's like, oh, we can add windows. I'm like, what? Just like that? He's like, yeah. We haven't started doing the overlay of the wall yet. It's still pre-construction, so we can add whatever you want. So I was like, okay, I'll take a window there, and I'll take a window in the bathroom. So they're adding windows for me. They're moving the closet that I want, and they're making it bigger. And all of this I got without any extra charge because my realtor wrote it in my my initial letter of request, which I guess I'll get to now. So basically, I was like, okay, I want this. And she said, okay, you put down the I put down $5,000 to hold it and to take it off the market. So you see it, you like it, you put down your $5,000 right then and there, and it's refundable. So if you change your mind in a week, you get the $5,000 back. But if you think that you are set on this apartment or condo, you put down that deposit because otherwise someone can snatch it from you. So all the $5,000 deposit does, takes it off the market while you make your decisions. So step one of those decisions is you talk to your realtor, who I think is texting me. She's coming now. You talk to your realtor, you tell her your demands, I call them demands, and she also is going to help you get more money off. So she was like, do you want to pay more up front? Because they didn't offer me the 80-20. They offered me, the highest they went was 30-50, whatever the remainder of that math is. And then, or 20, I guess. And then, but I was like, oh, I can put more up front, and will they give me more off? So in our initial letter of interest, she put, if we pay 80 up front, can I have a bigger discount? The lower. And also we want a window in the bathroom, after closet. Can you do that? And they wrote back and they're like, all right, this is how much we'll give you off. So they gave me an extra like $3,000 off for paying more up front. And they're like, and yes, you can have whatever windows you want in a bigger closet. And I was like, yes, okay, sign that. So I signed it electronically. She sent it to me. I signed it. She sent it back to them. They signed it. She sent it to me with the new contract that said, this is what we're going to give you for this price. And then the next step was going to the lawyer. So there's lawyers here. They are very professional. You don't have to go in person. I went in person so that I could make sure it was a real place and just to like see the process with my eyes and film it for you guys so that you guys can see that it is real and it's a legitimate law firm. It's very nice. Their customer service was amazing. They speak English. You speak Spanish. The lady who explained everything to me, I was like, wow, this is so easy. Like, how did I not know how easy this was before? Pause that for a second. Laura's here. This is my realtor. Hi.
Hi, everybody.
We got mixed up with the times. So okay. She's here now. I'm on the lawyer.
Okay.
The lawyer box. So I've gone through. recording. Okay, cool. So the lawyer process. There obviously you want a lawyer, especially when you're doing something that is pre-sale and you want to make sure it's delivered, and like everything's legal. And also, I mean, you're in a foreign country. You want to make sure that everything's legitimate and you're going to have 100% ownership of your property. You have the rights to resell it, to rent it, to have a beneficiary. So the lawyer basically is a fee. I think mine was $900 for the entire process, which I feel like is pretty good. And she does all of the closing costs, the taxes, like everything that you need to get your place. They do. So they do the contracts. They go over like the big stack of papers. They go through the contracts. They will read it to you. They will translate it to you because they are all in Spanish. So they will translate everything so that you know what you're signing. They'll send it to you. They'll send it back. They go back and forth for you. So they are your middleman. They are your safety net. And again, they're very easy to work with. It's all basically just a matter of money. So closing costs, I'll have Laura explain more about. I think mine are like gonna be around 10,000, which is, but whatever. And then, but again, so this all you don't pay us up front. So basically, you put a percentage down to start the process, and then later on, once things are getting finalized, then you pay the rest of it along with the rest of the cost of the condo. So yeah, it was pretty straightforward. I'm just gonna tell you a little bit more about the visa, which is the bank trust. I haven't gone through that yet, but I know so much about it because I was really unsure about what it was. So basically, what my lawyer explained to me, or one of the ladies there, is the reason why they have this law about not having foreigners own property near the beach or borders is because the reason why Texas and California are part of the United States is because U.S. citizens bought all of the Mexican land and then turned it into their own. So they learned from that, but that was the one. Remember, guys, we're a couple, like maybe like 100 years or so. So that's a really old law. So they can't get rid of the law, but they want to attract foreign investors, like I said in the beginning. So they have made like a loophole around this law, which is the fideicomiso, which is just a Spanish word for like a bank trust. So the Mexican owners of the land and property, they transfer the title of the property to a bank, and then you go to the bank, you get your trust, and they give it to you, but it's all through them. So it actually makes it a little bit more secure. It's through a bank, like banks are secure. Even if the bank went bankrupt or like died or something, they would just transfer it to another bank. So you don't lose it if anything happens to the bank. And it's 100% yours. Like you are not buying, you don't have a Mexican citizen that holds the property. Like it is 100% your property. If you bought a piece of land, it is 100% your land. You can build on it. So you own the property. You can technically even remodel the entire apartment if you wanted to, but based on the condominium's rules. So if they say, no, you cannot add an extra pool on your balcony, like you can't. But maybe they say yes, as long as you pay for it. So it's up to the condominium, but it's like owning a property in the United States. You can do whatever you want with it. You can rent it out 100%, and you can sell it 100%. That's what a lot of people do. It's completely annoying. And there's nothing like forbidding you to do that. It's your property. So for that bank trust, as a foreigner, you just sign papers, and then you have to pay a fee each year. So the fee is around, for mine is going to be $450 a year, which I don't think is too bad. That's like my credit card membership fee. So just like a foreigner fee. So you own land in their country, you pay them. Same thing with the taxes. The property taxes, I believe she said, were a little bit higher, but the benefit is, Laura's gonna explain this one because I don't know about it, Texas.
The taxes are very low. The property tax.
The property tax is
during the year, maybe it's around $200 US a year.
Okay, so property taxes are like $200 a year.
But the payment of the transfer tax in the process of buying.
But the initial signing of the property is where the taxes are higher, but the payments per year are a lot lower. So are HOA fees. So just gonna throw that one in there. If you're going with a condominium that has amenities, and all of them do, and they're really awesome,